Yeah, so welcome to the Ladies of Sound Community Chat, everyone. We do this every Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
And, and to me, go to oh, sorry, I thought I had the control of the next slide. Sorry, Caesar. Hit next for me, please. And, we do this to connect with our community online. It's a space for meeting other people, sharing stories, knowledge, tips, and tricks. So that was kind of the basis of us wanting to do this. And we are fortunate to have, what are we in our 9th or 10th week?
We're on our 10th week already. We started this thinking like, oh, it's going to be every quarantine Tuesday. It won't probably be that long. We started like the week after quarantine happened, and then wow, we're already 10 weeks in. That is just also a reminder of how long we've been home.
Yeah. Well, if everybody's, welcome everybody who's been here before, but if you are new to our community chat, we just have a couple of house rules. If you don't mind, please making sure that you are on mute when you're not speaking. And if you can please send all your questions in the chat room, we'll try to answer them all. And feel free to also chat during, today's community chat inside of there. And any questions, we are going to have a Q&A portion at the end with our special guest.
Speaking of our special guest today, it is our girl Dauché. She is here today with us, hailing from San Diego. You're in San Diego right now, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome. Thank you so
Hello,
much
everyone.
for coming in today. She is a touring DJ. She is DJ'd everywhere that I could even imagine. She was on the road throughout the whole of, I would say, last year. I'm not exactly sure how long, but we're going to get into that for a huge party you guys have probably heard of called R&B Only, which is under Colors Worldwide, which is the craziest party I've seen hella videos of it, and it's slow jams and also all the fun R&B as well. So we're going to get into that. She also does Every Woman in San Diego as well. So thank you so much for joining us. And
Hey, woo.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so you actually came to the first time. Okay, so I wanted to break down real quick how we met. We actually just met on Instagram. I had to go on our DMs like far back from the very beginning, and I guess I just was like, oh my god, you followed me. Like I was like kind of fangirling at the fact that you followed me. And then
I was a fan too.
Yeah, we kind of hit it off on Instagram, as most things are these days. And then I think we knew each other for like half a year, about a year, until we actually met in real life, which was at the Ladies of Sound panel we had in December, which was our first Ladies of Sound event. Yeah, you came through. We had the panel that was with, we had Shorty, we had Mona Lisa, we had Step One, Javen, and Bella Fiasco, and Rytos. Rytos coming with us. Is going to be here this Thursday, by the way. But yeah, so thank you for coming through to that. Thank you for being down, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity.
So we're just gonna get into it. We wanted to ask a few questions about how all of this came to be in terms of your career. Pretty much how did everything get started? From what I know, you were already in the music industry, correct? Right before you became a DJ?
Yeah, so I tapped into the promotional market. I did photography covering events for a little bit. And I also wrote on a blog, and I had my own personal blog, but I was also a part of an entertainment company called AO7 Entertainment and Media. So that's where I really tapped in to start. Oh, I also did some artist management as well for a little bit.
Tell us about that actually before. So that's where you started from, right? You said you did some artist management. We'd love to hear about that.
Okay, so the artist management that I did do came after the promo, the photography, and it was pretty much local artists here in San Diego. I had 4 artists that I was working with. 1 comedian / singer, a singer-songwriter, actually 2 singer-songwriters, and 1 rapper. And, it was good times. I enjoyed it. But I had to take a step back for a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, so it's not too much, but
so where did that lead after you did that?
that it actually led to DJing.
And was that through just knowing DJs already, or is that something that did you go to school for it?
Okay, so basically what happened was I had been interested in DJing for a while. I kept eyeing it like, I kind of want to do it. I've always had this ear for music, this love for music. And one of the artists that I had would always have issues trying to find a DJ. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to DJ, because if this happens one more time, I just wanted to have that skill set to be able to jump up there if I needed to, by any means necessary. And pretty much that's what led me to actually taking the classes. So I took the class with DJ Artistic, who is my mentor here in San Diego. So there's 2 DJ Artistic, one in LA and one here in San Diego. But I had been going to his gigs for a long time. And he decided to start, throwing lessons. And I jumped in 2013. And I was just practicing. He was just teaching me the fundamentals, the basics. And that's how I kind of went from, during the artist management time, I had a situation with an artist that it went left for me. That artist wasn't necessarily ready. You know what I mean? And I just decided to take a step back and kind of just find a place where I could be self-sufficient for me, because not all artist management is easy. Like if you've ever attempted to manage an artist, working with artists, not everybody knows, what they want to do or have the goals or necessarily the drive. And that's okay. Everybody has their own pace of what they want to do. But for me, I needed to take a step back and say, you know what, let's build some skills on your own. Let's, see what you could do for yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the reason why I asked about that is because we actually had a guest previously, Domo. She did, it was more of like the tour managing route. So I noticed that, sometimes that's how people, that's how people cut their teeth, right? They'll start off when, whether it's artist management or tour DJing, touring, a tour manager. And then that's how they kind of, understand the industry and kind of see it from behind the scenes. And then, and sometimes they transition to being a DJ. So, I know being in that environment must have had, some sort of effect on you and impact to where, you're able to apply, that knowledge towards yourself now that you are a DJ.
Absolutely. I think that definitely started within, my promotional years, promoting shows, like on some street team, I learned how to network early. And so I think that by networking, I've built relationships, and I built relationships with DJs specifically, also artists. And by managing, I learned that, I could take these skills, and they're transferable, like you said, and apply them to myself. You know what I'm saying? And then my hopes was, okay, maybe one day after this, I can return back to that managing other people, helping other people. So I just wanted to be solid within myself.
How was that transition because when you're managing an artist, you're always on the behind the scenes, you're never in front of people. How did it, if you were so willing to learn how to DJ just for the sake of your artist having a DJ, just in case, like, what was it, just kind of a thing you just had to do and overcome, like, because you ended up being in front of people, right? Like, you had to be on stage all of a sudden. Like, how did that transition go for you? And was it scary, or did you just not even think about it and you're just natural on stage?
Oh no, absolutely not. At the beginning, I was shook. I was so shook. I'm naturally a shy person, which kind of, if you meet me and, you know, like I warm up and I'm very social, but I can be very like reserved. So with DJing, that transition, I was not talking on the mic. I was pretty afraid, actually. I'm like, who am I to think I'm gonna DJ in front of people and I've been working behind the scenes this entire time? Like, really, Dauché? You know, I had conversations with myself, but yeah, I would say.
So what helped you in getting more comfortable in front of people?
I think that, you know, just listening to my mentor, you know, I think that was the beginning of things, because he definitely saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see in myself, right? Because I didn't just go from, I took the DJ class in 2013, right? And I practiced. And I wasn't completely sold on being a DJ. 2014 is where I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I still didn't say yes to any gigs whatsoever till 2015. So like, it took me some time to really say, you know what? Even though I don't feel ready, even though I'm afraid, I'm gonna do this. And if I'm hearing my mentor tell me, yo, you got this, like, you've been practicing for this long, you may not be the best DJ, but like, you gotta start somewhere. Like, you can't just, you know, how you gonna learn? So
yeah, I think that's a really big, I think that's a really big transition from when you go from, you know, being in your bedroom to finally being in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
And,
oh yeah.
How was that first time for you? Did you have a lot of lessons from that first experience, or you know, did you feel like, you know what, dang, I guess I was, you know, maybe I was just overthinking it, and I had fun, and did that propel you to just keep going from there?
So my first experience behind the decks, my mentor actually told me like, yo, play the next couple songs. And I was like, all right. So I did it, and I was like, yo, I could do this. I don't know where that confidence came from, but it came, and I was like, all right, cool. Didn't say yes to gigs like I explained till 2015. My first gig, I literally was like focused, looking at my computer, glued. I'm not really interacting with people. My face shows it all. I'm like in my head. Sure. But from there, from saying yes to that first gig, other gigs started to come. And this is literally like, you know, gigs from my mentor, but also other people who I have relationships with. And none of them necessarily heard me DJ, but they were willing to give me a chance. So I think that gave me the confidence as well to move forward. Like, all right, well, if they trust me, then I need to trust me, and I need to move on this. So I think that's, you know.
So when did it, so you have EVRYWMN too in San Diego.
Yeah.
Is that before or after R&B only? Like, what were the steps to these bigger events you started to help produce? Or how did you get to that?
So EVRYWMN came later after R&B only. EVRYWMN is my event here in San Diego, local event. It started off as a ladies' night, just for women to come, let their hair down, be themselves, like enjoy some music, you know, on a Thursday night, of course. But it was a good time frame. Then I incorporated small businesses to come in and display their art, their products, you know, their services. And I just wanted to build a community of women in San Diego. So that actually was birthed last year, 2019.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now, when did it become from, you know, doing these little bars, getting these opening slots, to having your name in like huge lights and becoming a part of something much bigger than I'm sure what you might have thought would happen, right?
Yeah, listen, to me, it still like trips me out. But I had a residency at a local like lounge, and there was like miscommunication, and I pretty much decided to walk away from this gig, right? And within that time frame, like maybe a month later, I went to this K-Tronada concert, right? at the observatory in North Park. And I just remember going, I'm gonna perform on this stage. I don't know where that came from. First of all, like I said, I've always been pretty shy at first when it comes to performing, for sure. And I said that to myself, and I felt very like conviction, right? But I'm like, maybe that'll come in like 2 years, 3 years, who knows? And I end up looking at this YouTube video where I see Jabari, who's the founder of Colors Worldwide, who is the CEO of R&B Only.
Mm-hmm.
And he's talking about a business that he has. He's talking about himself. It's sort of like an interview. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. And I go to his Instagram page and I see different cities, and I see San Diego. I click on San Diego, and he's like, in the caption, I'm interested in bringing events to this city. I just want to know certain things, about the city and how you guys feel about events. And he's like going into details about events. And so I'm like, hey, if you ever need any information on San Diego, if you want DJ recommendations, food, whatever, I got you. He hits me up, market research questions here and there. And a year later, I get hit up like, hey, do you want to DJ at the observatory? I said, excuse me, like, I said, excuse me, are you serious? Like, I was freaking out because I was like, that can't be real. Like, but
Wait,
it was.
So in that message, I'm sorry, did you say that you were a DJ, or you didn't even give services at all?
I was so in my head about myself, like, I'm not gonna put myself out there like that yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing all these other names, like, oh, you could pick this person or that person or this person. And they asked me without ever hearing me to DJ, and I was down. I was scared, but I was down because I was like, I'm not turning this down. Like, why would you do that to yourself? Like,
yeah, sometimes and I'm sure a lot of people in this room can agree that there's times where you're given opportunities that you're just like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready, right? Like,
right, you're like running and hiding, like
you're like, of course I'm not gonna say no, but am I even ready for this? Is this something that I feel like I can do? Right? So would you say, so how was that show? You were at the observatory.
Man, the show I had a great time. That was my first time performing in front of a crowd that large. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot of love, and I was just like on a high, you know what I mean? And, it was like a feeling that like, it was like a confirmation in a sense, like that no matter how, scared you may be, no matter how ready you think you may not be, that it's still possible for you to pretty much like succeed, I guess, per se. Yeah, like, so man, that was a great feeling. That was a great event.
So I wanna ask really quick. There's these pictures that I have so many questions about, because there's our students when they start, we do graduation for them. Mm-hmm. And they invite family and friends, and the community also comes out as well. And that's a pretty big debut for for really DJing out, for their first time. But in between then, they're DJing, practicing at school, practicing at home. Mm-hmm. They'll do a gig at a smaller venue and things like that. And then I look at this picture first of all, to have your name that big on a stage,
wild.
I mean, that must have felt amazing. I would feel like, whoa, is this really that's not my name on there. This is really surreal.
Absolutely.
I wanna ask you about that moment and how that felt for you, and then even the one below it there, where it's your back, and then you can just see the crowd. And this is coming from, you know, girl, you're the one that was like, wait, you were doubting yourself when it came to DJing in the very beginning, and you weren't sure if you wanted to do this. And then here these pictures in front of us, it's like, whoa, like this is where you've taken it, and these are the big parties that you do. Yeah, how did all that feel?
Amazing. Like anything is possible, even if you're scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the part that really sticks with me, is because like I would stay in my head even during these shows at the beginning. Sometimes until I'm on that stage, I'm like, you know, not so much now, but at the very beginning, it was, wow, I'm really about to go do this. But seeing my name on marquees or here, like, wow, like,
Where
thank
was
you,
this?
thank God.
These
So
are all R&B only, right?
yeah, so this one in particular, I believe, is in Atlanta.
Wow.
The one with my name on the LED screen.
So
But these are different places. So like Chicago, Phoenix. We were like, you know, he has the jersey, you know, Phoenix, Anaheim, and I believe the one in the middle with our backs turned is actually San Francisco.
that's so tight.
Wow.
I pulled these photos, you know, you sent me some, but I also pulled some random photos, and it's funny how all of these photos are still in different places. So we backtrack a little bit. How did you even get into this event? Like, how did all of that transpire from, you know, doing your smaller gigs to doing something like this?
Okay, so after I played that gig, R&B only, it was November 2016. I was asked to come back for New Year's Eve to DJ at Echoplex. And I DJed with another DJ. By the way, I was not the only DJ. It was me and DJ Prince to start it off. For New Year's Eve, I DJed with another DJ Supreme. And spring 2017 is when I was asked to come on tour. They offered me
Wow.
the opportunity. Before they you know, before I was fully on board, they had been bringing other DJs on from other cities. And yeah, spring 2017 is when I joined the team officially. And that is also the year that I decided to quit my job and take it. Yeah, I was working with kids for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
That's a big year for you.
Yeah, so that in particular was your driving force to be like, I'm gonna quit my day job.
Yes.
I mean, if you're gonna go on tour and say yes,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's no, you know, skipping out. You know, I was working, I was a supervisor for a 6 to 6 program Monday through Friday, but, you know, traveling is, you're pretty much out of here Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So
how was it like once you finally went on this tour? Because for me, I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people in this room too, like, that's on my bucket list for sure, to go on tour. But I know it's definitely not all glitz and glamour, right?
Oh boy.
Even though these pictures, though, I mean, I went to this slide. I'm like, whoa!
Right.
Oh
It's like, it's worth it. No. Okay. So I would say that I'm very blessed to work with a company that, you know, that they make sure that you're taken care of, you know, as far as hotel, as far as travel. You know, you hear those horror stories of roach motels and being stranded. Like, I've heard some crazy stories about tour, but definitely blessed to be able to work with a team that made sure that we were all taken care of. Tour has been amazing, being able to touch city to city, traveling, you know, being able to play the music you love and also travel at the same time. There's nothing like it, you know? And so there's also the food, meeting new people, Getting to rock for new crowds, DJing at some pretty famous venues, like, oh shit, I'm on the same stage that this artist performed, you know what I mean? Like, it's certain things like that. And also having like those sold out shows, or having the opportunity or having the opportunity to go overseas. Like, we went to London, and culture shock, first of all, but I've always heard that they rock with us Americans. You know what I mean? Like, they rock with us no matter what we play. They were live. That crowd was amazing from start to finish. So showed so much love. And, you know, I got to see some of the famous places that we see in movies and in photographs. So I was grateful for that aspect. Awesome. But then there is the side of touring that is not so glamorous, which is not being able to see a city because you have to get ready to go to the next city. Dealing with, and not every venue obviously, but sometimes sound, sometimes lighting, they don't always know what they're doing, unfortunately.
That's a common thing I've heard. I've heard that, you know, depending on where you go, you know, sometimes you'll run into a sound and lighting team that are on point. You show up, you get on stage, and you're just ready to rock.
Absolutely.
But then you run into, and this is, you know, I'm glad that you're talking about just the beautiful side of touring and the not so beautiful side of touring, because again, that's a dream for a lot of people, right? To travel and do what they love and go to different cities, but you know, it's strenuous at times, right? And like you're saying, when you're dealing with sound and lighting, which is a big thing, right? You get there, and sometimes the sound's great but the lighting isn't great, or vice versa. How are you and your team able to, you know, deal with that kind of stuff? Did you have somebody that was like a tech that rolled around with you guys, or would it just fall on like you guys as collectively to figure out you know, what was going on?
So we have a visual, a guy who does our visuals, but we never have had, only once, and it was in LA, you know, that we had a lighting technician. And I mean, it pretty much falls on us at the end of the day, like, you know, and we try to come up with solutions ourselves, because not all venue staff are willing, sometimes equipped to do these things, but sometimes you just have to take a L, and that sucks.
Oh man, yeah, I'm sure sometimes they might be geared for like a different type of show. Maybe they're used to dealing with live instruments and they're not so used to dealing with DJs, right? So how imperative for, you know, just to know your gear or just know these key things has it been for you? And did you learn a lot of stuff? I mean, all the troubleshooting you must have had to do figure out all of that.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you know your equipment, know how to plug in, you know how to also communicate with sound. That's a huge thing, because sometimes even they make mistakes, and that's okay, but you have to learn how to communicate that. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I had to learn was, okay, yeah, I could stare at him all day as he's, or she, because sometimes it's just she, they're messing with my equipment and plugging in, and you know, maybe they make a mistake. You have to be able to communicate that and be okay with that. You have to be confident in that. And sometimes equipment malfunctions on stage.
So what's happened? Oh man, is there a particular, do you have a story for that? I would love to, please share that with us.
So one time in the middle of the show,
one time in these pictures, was it like a show like that?
Oh yeah. One time in the middle of the show, my old laptop decided to freeze.
Just completely stop.
Oh yeah. And the sound it kept going, and then it stopped, and we had to like you know, Jabari, he hosts. So like, you know, we kind of came, at first we didn't have a method, like, okay, so what happens if something goes wrong? We had to develop that.
Yeah.
Like, if this goes wrong, we need to be able to go to the host, he talks, me start it over, do whatever I need to do and get it going. There was also a time where we had like an iPad plugged up in different, we had an iPad plugged up just in case.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good background.
Yeah, but that
it's yeah, there is. I'm about to go to my bedroom. It's Josiah's. Are you hungry?
No.
Why don't you tell me you're hungry? I told you yesterday, stop doing that and tell me you're hungry.
Hold on, Brisa. Brisa, we can. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was looking for.
Oh, that's my girl.
At least she's a friend.
I just heard her voice. I can't. Okay, that's funny. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things that you just want to be prepared. You know, knowing your equipment, knowing what the backup plan is. It's okay. I see you. Knowing your equipment, having a backup plan, communicating with your team on what the backup plan, you know, feel free to like give suggestions and all that. So those are some
good tips.
learn.
Yeah, that definitely some good tips. At the school we call it like tap dancing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to tap dance. If there's something going wrong, you got to look at you got to look at your co-host to like distract or
right
something to where okay, oh, you know, maybe the you know, now he's got to be this MC, he's got to be in the crowd and just talk about something else and make announcements and things like that while you just see
restart everything.
Yeah.
I have one more thing to
yes.
say. I wasn't the hop on a mic DJ at first.
Yeah.
I was super shy, didn't know what to say. And I had to force myself to just be myself on stage. And of course, you don't have to talk all the time. Talk when it makes sense. But like if the host isn't gonna do everything for you. Like what happens if this person, you know, or if the host can't
else, right?
Yeah, because there's been times where there's been a time this year where the host actually got sick and I had to do the entire show by myself. So that was an experience.
You got to show up, right?
Yeah, you have to show up for the event. You have to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
So,
how many people were at that show, may I ask? Do you think?
Okay, so we Sacramento was one. I want to say like 400 or more.
Wow.
I think. And then we went to Seattle, and I had to play that show. He got on stage and attempted to do the show, and his voice just would not come back. You know what I'm saying? He was still rocking, but he could not talk at whatsoever. So, and that venue, I think we hit like 1,000 something.
So you're like, okay, I guess I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, it's like you have no choice. Yeah. Like this is what you signed up for, and do it well because you got it. You know, you have to encourage yourself. Like, here we go.
So now, are you on the mic more? Have those experiences kind of, you know, basically added to your game because you had to adapt, right? So you went from just like, I'm just gonna be behind the decks, I got a host, then your host gets sick or just something happens and you're like, I gotta run this party by myself. Now is it just something that's natural for you? Are you just comfortable just like, you know, you're DJing and then you just pick up the mic, say what's up, hype up the crowd type of thing? Is that incorporated into kind of like just your overall DJ persona?
Absolutely. I think that people definitely respect it, and it
changes the party.
Yeah, it changes the party, because if you go to a party and people are just DJing and not saying anything, especially with this type of event, you can lose them. You know, you can lose them. You know, it's about the music, don't get me wrong, but You got to tap in with them. You have to talk to your crowd. You have to vibe with them. And there's nothing like connecting with the crowd. I've played shows where we hop off stage and have to travel like 12 hours. And it's like, oh, yo, like, oh, how is this routed? You know what I mean? Like, but you know, it makes sense in the end. But yeah, I just kind of, I'm pretty easygoing. I'm pretty flexible, so I don't complain, you know. Everybody's in the same boat as I am, and so we just kind of
roll with it.
Yeah, you just roll with it, and you know that this came with the territory, so.
Yeah, that's great advice. If to anybody, you know, obviously right now, COVID is not our friend, and they keep saying that it's not our friend right now. So traveling and that kind of stuff is on hold until it's safe again. And when that's when everybody does get to start doing that, do you have any, you know, any advice that you can give anyone looking to, you know, aim for that tour schedule? You know, I know I love traveling, so the travel and do what I love is just, it's the goal. But for you, you know, what would you tell somebody that's looking to do that? Someone like Sam, because she wants to do that. So.
Reach out. You know, don't be afraid to reach out to the people who you want to work with, that you want to potentially work with. Because hey, that could be your foot in the door. Yeah, that's honestly the main thing.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we've been getting ourselves accustomed to just even having, you know, these community chats where you have to reach out to people now that are maybe not in our city, or not the people we're used to seeing every event, you know. But look, we're like 10 weeks in, and we've been able to do a lot of really cool things with a lot of different women now. So yeah, that's a lot of great advice. And sorry about my computer earlier. But I also had another question. You know, of course, with the whole party being R&B, you already know for the most part, obviously the format. But when you go to different cities, I'm sure even though it's the same format, it's still not the same format technically, I would assume, right? Because they're different cities and different, or even just going to London, right? Can you touch on that? Like, you have to pay attention, I'm sure, to the demographic, even though it's still the same demographic, but it's not, right? So
yeah, okay, so with like somewhere like London, because they're super receptive to the music that you play, you know, they're gonna move and groove regardless of what you play. But I did take into account, you know, one of the big songs that I played at the time was like Davido If, and everybody was going crazy. So, you know, add a little bit of Afro beats, you know, to the set. That really went well, because you know, London is a mixture of a lot of different, you know, backgrounds, just like, and that particular song, I'm just saying, it went off, and I absolutely love that I was able to play that for that crowd. But even the songs that, you know, again, that they weren't familiar with, they still grew to and showed love.
What about when you just go to different states, just different states, because they're from different places where their R&B was different, right? Or their hip hop was different, or this song was really big only in this part of the country.
Yeah. So you're going to have to learn how to like really read the room, because you are not staying in a certain region for a long period of time. And with London, I just want to add, you know, I've always heard London is, I mean, that's where Amy Winehouse is from, and the Beatles. So when it comes to music, they're just, you know, they're really into it, and there's just a lot of big artists that come out of there, and you know, artists that have you know, just really big artists in general, Elton John, you just, the list goes on and on. So that just, I love that you're saying that they were just receptive to everything that you were playing. but when you go to a different city and it's on a national level, how are you gauging that and reading the room from there?
Honestly, man, like whether let me think how I gauge room in a different city that's not necessarily London. Maybe it could be like a
smaller
say,
one.
yeah, like say, yeah, you're in Atlanta, I'm sure is different than California, right?
Right. So like in Atlanta. But let me just say also that when we go to each city, we also try to I also try to incorporate artists that are from that city. So I'll make sure to slide in, if I'm in Atlanta, I'm gonna play some Jagged Edge in 112, you know what I mean? Or wherever I go, I try to incorporate artists from that area. And so that's a way that I could kind of gauge the crowd, by playing something that they are most likely familiar with.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think R&B music, I think, what people with R&B only, there's kind of this misconception that it's only going to be 90s music and we play music that it's from past to present. So you're not necessarily going to catch everybody at every song. But just for me, I just, again, as far as reading the crowd, try to incorporate artists from that city. Just look around. I look into the crowd to see, okay, is this hitting or not? Do I need to switch it up? But I don't know if that answers the question, but.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, that's a really great tip. I've never thought of it that way too. If you're gonna go somewhere, hey, who is from this city? And let me play some of their stuff. Like if I were to go to Minneapolis, let me play Prince and Everything Under the Sun from that, more.
And that goes off every time.
Oh,
I'll tell you that.
I bet. Oh yeah, that's a great tip. I just never thought about anything like that. So I hope everybody took that tidbit because that's really awesome for future. But in terms of R&B, do you stick to? You're saying you don't just stay in the '90s. So are you playing like '70s, '80s R&B, just some classics, and then going into the new stuff as well, or do you usually stay closer to '90s here and there, and more of the new stuff?
So we're playing, Marvin Gaye, Earth, Wind and Fire to Chris Brown and Kehlani.
Yeah.
112 Genuine. We're hopping around. We're hopping around. We're playing Lucky Day, LMA or LMI, however you LMA.
How is it when you want to play like a slow jam? Because man, do I wish I could just play a slow jam in front of hundreds of people.
Okay, so we always start the party off like it's a function, like we out here, where the party at? Usher, you don't have to call. You have to start high energy. You don't want to lose the crowd early.
Yeah.
I play slow tracks. In between sets, we don't always just go all the way through. We stop and we talk, we engage with the crowd, and maybe we'll play a song for lovers, and that's that time that we'll play that one slow song, and then we'll go to our next set, and it's a little it's a little bit more high, but at the end is my favorite, where I get to play the slow jams, and that right there is, I think that is where a lot of people definitely enjoy themselves. You're not hearing these slow songs in clubs, at bars. I mean, you could, but in you're amongst people who are singing these songs, like Deborah Cox, How Did You Get Here? Oh wow. One of my favorite joints to play, because everybody's singing to the top of their lungs, and you're not gonna get this at the club. You know what I mean? And everybody's engaging with one another,
boot up,
or you come in there by yourself and
leave not by yourself.
You could leave with someone. People have proposed at our shows, really good time. And so playing the slow jams is definitely super rewarding. It really is.
Ooh, I'm excited for when this is over because
Right.
Yeah, no, let's
party. Dang.
yes, please.
Right.
We should everyone in this room, we should just get a party bus to the next R&B only.
So down with that.
That is-
So, thank you so much for all of those beautiful tips, tricks, and of course sharing all of those stories. So, I wanted to actually open up the Q&A section for today. We have some questions in the chat room. Let me go ahead and get back on this.
Okay.
yeah, if anyone has any questions.
Here, guys. So don't be shy. You know, and I'm gonna change it up again. If you have a question, type a 1 in the chat, and then unmute yourself, and let's talk to Dauché ourselves. So please.
If you have any questions. In the meantime, I mean, do you want to talk about what your what's happening now? Obviously, all these places are closed. You know, the nightclubs and the bars. What's going on with you and your team now that you've been able to kind of sit back and get some rest also?
Okay, let me just say that I had a real ass moment of what the hell is going to happen next? Freaking out like, oh shit, you know, we're not going to be able to go on the road anymore, because that was my full-time job, you know? So what I decided to do was to take a step back and gather myself, and decide to rebrand myself, even have been thinking about going back to school. And you know, a lot has been going through my head, but rebranding myself, planning, you know, new creative projects, taking a lot of like me time to just be, and to relieve myself of that pressure that I always need to be doing something. I really did need a break before COVID-19 hit, and we were going to have a break. Of course, I didn't think it was going to be this long, but yeah. But as far as R&B only is concerned, you know, we don't know when, you know, we're going to be able to return. You know, I don't know if some of you have seen like articles where they talk about returning fall 2021, and I'm just like, wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we can do these live streams, which is great, you know, and try to find other ways to monetize or just have fun, you know, have fun again, and feel free, and just build yourself. But yeah, I am waiting on more word from R&B only, and to see where that's gonna go.
At least you had time, you know, to take a break, yourself, and also get on our community chats. And I was able to tackle you down, and you weren't moving somewhere.
Yeah,
so.
Sam was always telling me about you. She's traveling everywhere. She's always everywhere. So it's really, you know, I definitely look at this like a blessing in disguise. You know, I know it hasn't been easy for everyone, but I think that what I'm hoping everybody got out of this was to have, you know, get back to themselves. So, you know, because, you know, sometimes you're just going in that pressure of, like you said, always having to do something, which is something I'm completely guilty of. This, I've really slowed down. Recently, I actually didn't slow down the first time or the first time COVID hit, you know, when it first started. So it's been great. Really quick, I see that Kawai, please unmute yourself. Kawai has a question. She's one of our students. She goes by this moment as DJ. She's really dope. Kawai, meet Dauché. Please
What's up?
ask your question.
The question is, I wanted to know if you guys do, like, as far as your marketing or advertising strategy, like, do you guys do any paid ads, like on IG or Facebook? And how do you market in each city when you're going?
Okay, so Jabari and our admin Sonia, they usually handle all of that. But yeah, we do ads via IG, via Facebook. It's a lot of social networking advertisement that goes into it. I know that Jabari has other systems, but for the most part, it's been Instagram. Instagram has been a huge. Instagram, Facebook has been a huge a place where we market most.
Oh.
I have a question. How do you guys know how big you can draw a crowd in a city that you've never played in before?
That's kind of a question for
The risk.
that's a question for Jabari. I mostly I show up, I play. I do listen to some of the things, some of the things that they, talk about, but for the most part, they would know that information as far as, the ins and outs of the marketing and the crowd. Because I'm not completely sure how we know we're going to draw a crowd. A lot of times it's a test. Sometimes it's a test. It's like, okay, because at first what we were doing free before 10:30 tickets on like Eventbrite or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would definitely draw a crowd. But after a while, when we started charging, it would just be a risk. You know what I mean? Like it would just be a risk. We market. Sometimes we get good crowds. Sometimes it's not always like, the best crowd. It's not always like, the amount of people that you see in the photos that were there. Sometimes it's less than that for sure, but keep going.
Thank you for that. I see, actually, I will get back to you, Kawhi. Yeah, so we have another question from Kawhi, but Jordan Brown has a question. Jordan, if you please want to unmute yourself and ask Dauché her question.
Hey, Dauché.
Hello.
Question for you. What is the most challenging and the most fun thing about kind of playing a singular genre?
Oh, man. So the fun thing about playing a singular genre is I love R&B. I've loved R&B forever. And so like off top is just like, I get to, just play the music that I love. But once you're on the road sometimes, and I will say that this is kind of a thing that is like, damn, at the same time, when you're on the road, you're literally focused on that event and that event only. So you're not necessarily able to go play at other gigs that you want maybe to mix up the genre or, what have you. So I think that's kind of the frustrating part for me is like, I could go play all R&B at R&B only, but that's pretty much it for tour time. Okay, yeah, I could put together a gig and mix it up, but one thing that we do at R&B only though is we have a small little hip hop break that gives me joy. So we'll play like
that you've done like T Grizzly that one time.
Oh yeah. When we were in Detroit, you have to play, like we played T Grizzly in Detroit, and it went bananas. That's another thing that we do also is while picking R&B songs that are from artists in those cities, we'll pick hip hop songs from artists in those cities. So I hope that answered your question somewhat.
It does, thank you. Yeah, I play house, so I kind of try to go in all these different directions. So thank you for that.
That's dope. I'm gonna need everybody's information after this. I need your mixes or something.
Everybody,
we'll do that too.
Don't forget to drop all their ats in Instagram. Thanks for that question, Jordan. Did you have anything else you wanted to ask while we had you on unmute?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. So back to Kawhi. Kawhi, you had a question again?
How are you dealing with the groupies? What is that like?
Kawhi needs
so
to
many.
know. She needs to know.
I know a lot of them out there, they don't want to say, but they're, everybody looking good. So
that's funny. I just handle it with, hey, how's it going? I'm like super genuine, just kind of like, I don't, I guess what I do is like, I engage, I have conversation like it's regular. And then when they say things to me, because yes, it has happened, I just kind of, the shyness comes back and I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. I'm gonna, thanks for, you know, I get
Bye.
yeah. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate you. You know, I hug people. I make sure we come down after the show, hug people, thank them for coming. If people make comments, I just say I appreciate you, and then I move on. So that's how. But I've had some wild DMs. Ooh. And I just do not
engage.
I'm Stevie Wonder. in the motherfucker.
Watch out for Kawhi then.
Let's chat offline.
I'm Kawhi's grace. Yep, yeah, I love her. Thank you, Kawhi. Alina had a question. Alina, meet Dauché. Please unmute yourself.
Hey guys, hey, I have a quick question. What is your DJing equipment preference, especially playing in big crowds? Is there something that you would recommend, or what works and what doesn't? Because majority of us, I think, use turntables, and what would you suggest or recommend?
So that is a great question, because I absolutely love turntables. However, when you're moving from city to city, equipment rental gets expensive. And even though I would love to be on turntables, I have a controller. Now, of course, that's like, dang, you know, like you can't, you know, move like you want to on turntables. I mean, on a controller. I mean, you can if you put the time in, and, you know, it's not the same. But travel-wise, take my controller everywhere. It's a carry-on. You know, prepare for everything.
Yeah, just one bag.
So that's my preference. I use a Newmark, but anything easy to carry around, easy to set up.
Yeah, because traveling city to city, especially in that capacity, you know, that is a lot of gear to carry. And again, I also worrying about, can the sound can the people handle it? You know, and you know, I know from friends telling me that, and that's why that, you know, at least with the turntables, at least, you know, that's your foundation, but you can apply that to any medium, whether it's a controller or CDJs. You know, Vegas are super CDJ heavy, but controllers, you know, I know that from friends, again, it's just easier to carry around. But you know, in that venue, those venues especially, I can't even imagine you guys carrying all of that equipment everywhere and putting it on top of your luggage, on top of all the other stuff into this. You guys are in a Sprinter? Yeah, I bet you that.
We had a Sprinter and we had a truck carrying our LED equipment.
Oh wow.
The last.
Wait, is that
year.
So when your name is on is that your guys's equipment? Oh
yeah.
My God, are you serious? You guys?
Yeah.
What?
So there was a period of time where we were using. we didn't start off that way. Trust. We started off very humble in the beginning, but Jabari bought an LED wall to, you know, bring better visuals to the show. And so we had a truck that would carry all the equipment. So we had our Sprinter van, we had our truck carrying the equipment. And yeah, just even like sometimes the team would even assist on breaking down some of the equipment if the venue didn't have enough staff. So it's just a lot to deal with. So that's why, you know, I personally chose to just bring a controller. And I know that my controller is also reliable because, again, you could rent something and it could be broken. You could rent something and it's just not, you know, you just want to be prepared at all times. I have one more thing to just say real quick. Yeah. Another downside, just this happened one time. When we were trying to go to Canada, customs would not let our equipment through. So if you're on a tour with like a group of people, make sure that they have proof of everything broken down. I don't know the exact language of it all, but you have to have all like proof that this is yours.
Yeah.
You know, all the equipment is yours. Everything you're taking in is yours, and you bring it back out. They didn't let our equipment through. So yeah, things like that happen too.
No, great tip. Great tip. Thanks for that. Well, and you know, that's, I mean, looking at the photos, production levels, like that's definitely worth it, especially for the type of party you guys are doing. So wow, I did not know you guys rolled around with those LEDs. That's that's nice. Gotta go buy one too. I have thank you for that. I have another question
Okay.
from Sammy Sagoon. Sammy, please unmute yourself.
What's up? What's up? Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
going good, going good. So my question was, like, when you're on a tour and you're going from city to city on a nightly basis, and the gigs are more consistent, how much of your sets are like premeditated versus you just like walking in there and just feeling the crowd out and then just picking the songs from there?
That's a good question. For the most part, like at first when I was DJing at the very beginning, I would just wing it. You know what I mean? I would just wing it. And, you know, maybe select maybe the first 5 songs and then go from there. And then later on, it became a little bit more premeditated. So we kind of started to develop like, okay, this is the energy that we want. And I would have more of okay, I'm going to have like, I pretty much attempted to fill out, okay, everything that I was going to play that night. You know, I didn't just always go off the top of my head. So I guess to just say like at the beginning, winging it. By this time, a lot more premeditated for sure. Yeah, a lot more premeditated, just so that our visuals could match our the sound, and that could be a headache in itself too. Like, even though you love it, it's great, you know, to have visuals matching with the sound. You know, sometimes having premeditated sets, like, you know what you're gonna play, isn't always the best feeling. Cause yeah, you could read the crowd and play songs here and there, but it's, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer that okay?
Oh no, that was perfect. Yeah, I just wanted some insight on that because
Yeah.
I feel like I was kind of like the opposite, whereas like now it's like I feel like I've always been premeditated, but now I'm kind of trying to, you know, like freestyle a little bit more and just feel out the crowd. But it's like cool hearing from you. You're kind of like the opposite way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, yeah, I think it also came with the growth of it came, you know, that whole premeditated, like, okay, we're gonna have these songs. I think it came with, you know, again, just wanting to match the visuals and up the production and have everything timed, you know. Yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Thanks for that,
Yeah.
Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy.
That's a great question. When you're on
Definitely.
tour and you have the visuals, that is actually something that, as much as you would love to freestyle and throw in, you know, a surprise here and there, just because you are feeling out the crowd, if your visual isn't matched up to it, then, you know, you just gotta go with whatever is pre-planned, which,
Right.
you know, sometimes happens, and sometimes people don't really realize that. You know, if they're like, oh, you know, I wish I heard this song. Or, oh, you know, sorry, we had a kind of plan. So
Oh man, yeah, and they come at you. Like,
yeah,
the request mob, they definitely come at you. They hit you up in your
request mob.
Yeah, they hit you in your DMs as if you're gonna look at your DMs during the show.
They're like, oh, we must have her handle so we can request.
It's crazy to me. They think they can DM you when you're like about to go on the show, not understanding that, like, yo, my playlist is set already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could switch songs here and there. Like, you know, I'm able to have a little bit of flexibility there, but just to kind of have something to
Just for the overall production.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, that's a great question, Sam. Thanks for that. So we are getting close to wrapping up, guys. And before we do, I just wanted to ask, last chance for any questions. If you guys, you know, want to ask Dauché anything, speak now or forever hold your peace. Oh, we have another question. Kelly, Hey, so please unmute yourself. Oh,
I live in Queens. I live in.
Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
My question is, who is your biggest inspiration business-wise? Because the DJ that you do on Thursdays down here at the blue, right down the street from my house, the Blue Bar,
Bluefoot.
the Bluefoot. How from there do you want to make that a big event? Like, who's your biggest inspiration business-wise?
My biggest inspiration business-wise? Whew, okay. Well, I kind of take a little bit from people even outside the industry, but I kind of looked at my mentor as one of my biggest inspirations for sure, DJ Artistic, to start. He's just a man who has been able to DJ for years in this city and operate with, get the ultimate respect and operate with integrity, and take care of his people. So I think, even the people who are like next to us, I also, I'm inspired by. Other than that, like, I could look at a So Super Sam or Selection. They're super inspiring, and all those, everybody from there, from Dauché to Sasha Marie to Andre Power, I've watched them grow their business and grow within their DJing. And Andre Power in particular, he had events at Bluefoot. So my event now is EVRYWMN. It's at Bluefoot, and Andre Power started events at Bluefoot. He had one called Art in the Park. He also had a night with Andre Power. So he's also an inspiration to me. Other than that, there's like my other DJ inspirations are like DJ Premier, business wise, Rich Paul. I could name a whole lot of people that I'm inspired by.
I mean, I like this list. I love this list. Thank you very much for asking the question.
Thank you,
Kelly. Yeah, that's to have a mentor is not always easy to find. It's a blessing that you actually have Artistic as a mentor. Previous to me being where I'm at, shout her out because she's here. Kawai was my mentor in the photography world, so I learned a lot from that woman. She put me through the wire, and I really cut my teeth with her. So I appreciate everything I learned from her. Again, it's, you don't find mentors just on the street. That's something that I feel is a dime a dozen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Selection, I admire what they've done too. I've seen them grow from small radio, college radio, show on at Long Beach,
K Beach,
and then them go from having from Apple, and then put their merch line out, and they got a space, and then they went live streaming, and just they do it really well. So Primo, of course, you can't go wrong with him. He's a legend, and he just keeps it 100 all the time. And to see I love that. I'm wearing it right now, so shout out to versus that was epic. So I love all those.
You said Madlib?
Oh, Nanlib, she's one of our students. So
she's an artist.
Oh, okay.
She makes really dope hip hop stuff.
She said
painting.
One more time.
Her name is Nancy, but her artist name is Nanlib because she's
okay.
She's a big Madlib fan.
Okay, because I was like, hold on, you said Madlib. Yeah, I love Madlib. I actually had to miss out on a gig. Never mind. Keep going.
That's another talk.
Right. That's a whole nother talk.
So thank you so much, everyone. We're gonna transition to, we actually have a couple of things we wanted to share, and then Dauche, we did want you actually nominated somebody for our Sisterhood Spotlight, so we're gonna have you talk about that in a sec. Let me go back to sharing my screen. All right, so we're done with the Q&A. And really quick, guys, everybody, thank you for everybody who came today and listen. You know, please follow Dauché. You see her IG, her Twitter. She has her SoundCloud, and I love it because well, I was like Audio Mac, Bandcamp, Apple Music. Yes, give me all of that. And I love that. You know, it's either Dauché or DJ Dauché. So please follow her, guys. Support. You know. Go ahead and drop her a DM, just not those kinds of DMs. Stay in touch. And then of course you guys can follow us. We do this every every Tuesday at 6 p.m. We're actually kicking it up a notch and doing it twice a week, but we'll talk about that next. So, you know, you guys know Dauché has her Spotify, and you guys know we do too. We are due for a new list, but we have that. Just type in Ladies of Sound, and you can also type in Dauché and find her also on Spotify. And then you guys know homeroom be going on every single day of the week. So if you guys want to sharpen your skills, and you know, we do teach the foundation of DJing, and that's where we feel like if you build that, again, you can take that anywhere, whether it's, again, like I mentioned before, turntables, you know, translate that to controllers and to you know, CDJ. So you guys already know homeroom 7 days a week with the guys, all levels. Go to beatjunkies.tv for that. And Sisterhood Spotlight. So you guys know that, again, we decided to do this, especially, you know, it's inspiration because of COVID. You know, it doesn't take much to share somebody's story, share somebody's post. It doesn't cost you anything, you know, but we need it more than ever right now. So the reason why we do this is to give light to everybody who has been affected by this, or somebody that's on a smaller scale and deserves to, you know, spread, needs help spreading the word. So Dauché actually nominated Hooper Mentality. So Dauché, please, you know, give us a little bit of background on why you nominated Hooper Mentality, and we would love to learn more about it.
Okay, so Hooper Mentality is by my homegirl, Patty Medina. She's the founder and one of the coaches for Hooper Mentality. And I'm just gonna read here. It is an initiative that provides resources in mental health training, life skill coaching, and leadership workshops for youth athletes, as well as being in a safe haven outlet for athletes to share their stories. So she just recently launched the sweaters, the shirts. This one in particular is a collaboration between her and a friend named Rosa. She has lupus, and you know, they love to spread awareness. This is just a very positive, beautiful foundation that I personally support. I grew up playing basketball. I utilize basketball as one of my many forms of therapy. So, and they focus on, you know, starting young with youth. They work with youth, work through, you know, focus on the mental health of things, which, you know, is very needed now. So that's why, you know, I selected Hooper Mentality.
Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, and you know, again, guys, because of COVID, it's not like we can watch sports right now or even play sports.
Right.
So please check her out at hoopermentality.com, and or follow her on her IG. Again, you know, sharing a story, sharing somebody's you know, a story from their feed, following them, that doesn't cost anything. And that's why it's super important for us to spread this kind of awareness so that we can all help each other out. Follow IG at the.hooper.mentality. And yeah, maybe you want to grab that fly shirt that
yeah, Fly was just like, she needs that sweatshirt. So
yeah, and y'all need to be friends too, because Kawhi played ball. You know, and now
okay. I'm playing.
Marisol did too. Marisol played ball too.
Girl, I'm old, so I don't know.
No,
my back's not, you know, the same anymore. But.
You know, yeah, things don't bounce back like they used to, but I'm sure you still got it.
Still got my shot, but you know, not. You know, I'm probably tired after like 5. You know what I mean? So, but, yeah, that's really dope. Thank you so much for sharing that. Everybody, please go follow and support and check that out. And then next, our other support here is when supporting your sisters. We love sharing these live stream listens. So Sam, we want to talk about that?
Yeah, so Tiara Monique actually is one of the other DJs at R&B Only. What's funny is that me and her used to DJ together for a night we used to have called Baby Girl, which is all female hip hop and R&B music we would do. And so me and her, we've gone down to San Diego together, stayed in our Airbnbs, places and things like that together. And then she tried out when you guys were looking for another DJ. So it's funny that she ended up being part of your team, which is so tight. So we have her SoundCloud here as well. If you guys want to check her out, we'll see if we can get her on one of these community chats, because she also DJs for Il Camille as well. Of course, you guys know our girl Bella Fiasco. This is her last one where she's doing an IG live until she switches to Twitch. So if you guys want to check her out, that's an after party after this. And then last but not least, we also have Nyara Nuru, but it's also AKA Jordan Brown. She's actually in this room right now. This is her mix right here. And do you want to just say hi and kind of just a little quick
hear about that.
Unmute yourself and say what's up. This is such a tight mix. I listened to it today. It's all house, and it's house that I've never heard before at all. So yeah, if you want to talk about it real quick.
Yeah, shoot. Let's see. I'll actually go from the beginning. So I've only been DJing for a couple months now, and I am really excited. I've been excited about DJing for probably the past 3 years, and I just never had the courage to start. But once I did, I was like, okay, this is definitely my jam. I'm excited. So I'm a PhD student over at University of California, Riverside, and I work, my work is with healing and music. And so I was like, I need to do something outside of academia. I need to make sure that I'm, putting out this music. I need to make sure that I'm doing other things outside of just the school stuff. So I've been kind of doing some research with house. I've been listening to house for literally all my life. And so I love it so much. And I put out this mix. It was really just personal healing. And I hope that other people will see it as healing, but I love it so much. I have some artists in there. Let's see. Park Hae-jin, she's a Korean artist from LA. I've got Jared Jackson with Selection and a couple other people in there. So yeah, that's what I do. And I've released a couple other mixes, and those have a little bit of house in them and some R&B and some funk sounds, but I'm really trying to get into more of this all house thing. So I'm working on my next mix. Yeah, I hope y'all will enjoy it and check it out.
Yeah, thank you so much. You guys can find her on SoundCloud. Just type this in, and then yeah, you guys should definitely listen to it, because I definitely enjoyed it while I was making this presentation. So thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. And yeah, again, everybody, please drop their Instagrams in the chat. Jordan, there's a lot of thank you everyone that's here and everyone that's new. So, and also to our BJ iOS students and ladies of sound, y'all need to connect. That's the reason why we exist. We want everybody to connect with each other, because the community of people that do DJ is actually small, especially when it comes to the girls. So please connect with each other, and you never know if you guys might hit it off. But we have a lot of students that love house too. I am also one of them, so I'm actually excited to listen to that. But if you guys have anybody that you'd like to nominate for our sisterhood spotlight, whether it's someone that has a pivot and needs a little bit of love, please let us know. You can send us a DM, or we do have a link to nominate someone in our sisterhood spotlight. Or if you just know somebody like Jordan that put out a really dope mix, or somebody that's going to be going live and you want to show them some support, please let us know again, and we would love to highlight them. And then of course, last but not least, don't forget us. So we love doing what we do. If you guys want to support, and again, Alina, you're like our model over here. And so we have a few of those teas left. We are almost out of those, but that was something that we did for Women's Month. And we have a little fund that goes to our Ladies of Sound scholarship fund, which is when COVID goes away, we definitely are going to be doing, you know, reenacting or sorry, re-establishing our scholarship for somebody to come in, you know, attend the school. And then, of course, if you guys want to make a donation and to help towards future programming, please visit ladiesofsound.com /donate. And, you know, thank you again. And Dauché, man, I really loved talking to you today. It was so fun.
That was a good one.
Yeah, so many good gems, and I'm so glad that you got to meet our community. And again, to all the newcomers that are visiting us today and here with us in the Zoom room, and of course all of our students, you guys are diehards, and we really do love you guys for always showing your support in everything that we do. Dauché, you have any closing words? Thank you again for being a guest.
I just want to say thank you to you guys for having me. I can't stress this enough. Like, I definitely, I'm just so grateful for you guys. And I want to thank everybody in the chat who stayed around, asked questions, like very dope questions. I'm just so grateful and appreciative. And please reach out. I will definitely add you back. And just thank you for, you know, inviting me into your community that is Ladies of Sound. It is so necessary. And Sam, it is so necessary, because sometimes, you know, you got to tap in with your sisters and talk about this DJ shit. And, you know, brothers too. I'm sorry. but you get what I'm saying here. You hear. I appreciate you. But yeah, I appreciate this community so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're lucky too, because in the sense that we have a lot of the men in our community are so super supportive, and just down with the ladies of the school. So we're really lucky. You know, Sammy be showing up all the time, Mark, Lou, a bunch of other guys. They're, you know, they're like the big bros that roll around when the girls are like going to gigs and stuff. So it's so awesome, and the support goes back and forth. So thank you guys. And Dauché, man, I feel like we got to have you back and like just talk more and like chop it up some more, and then see what you got going on. You know, I'd love to hear what that's going to be looking like for you after, you know, I mean, we just got to catch up again for sure.
I'm down every single time, and I'm down to learn some stuff too. So I'll be asking questions.
We are here for that.
Well, guys, if you guys want to check this out, ever want to replay it, or if you want to show it to any of your friends who missed it, we're going to have all of this up on our website, as well as the presentation as well. If you want to grab any of those, all that information, you can download. Cool? So thank you guys so much. We're going to be back this Thursday, actually. We're going to kick it up a notch. We have this Thursday with DJ Ritos. She's actually going to be kicking off the following week also next Thursday with our wellness for DJ. She's a yoga instructor, but she's also a DJ. So she has these tips and tricks about all of that. So we have all the information on our Instagram, and we hope to see you guys this Thursday.
Yeah, what's really awesome, you know, if you guys don't follow Right Toast already, you guys will get to actually, you know, I've known her for you know, since the school opened. So we wanted to actually bring her on twice. For one, not to only introduce her to you guys. I know you guys have you know, met her out in this, you know, out partying and things like that. But you know, she actually that woman hustles like no other. I'm like, how many projects do you have going on? So we want to talk about you know, all of that with her, from, you know, working as a DJ to, you know, being in a group of men that happens to be her husband, all of that kind of stuff. But then as a yoga instructor, she's been a yoga instructor for a long time now, and she actually developed particular stretches for DJs, like yoga stretches for DJs. So you're using your hands, and she's doing that. So no pressure. You guys don't have to have your camera on. I know I won't, but I will be doing those stretches. I don't need you guys to see me.
Don't want to see my rolls.
But you know, for DJs, and this is what she brings up, we go through a lot. Our bodies go through a lot. You guys are standing for a long time. Even when you're at home, you're not, I mean, you know, I have a chair here, but like, you're not going to always be sitting, and you want to dance and all that kind of stuff. So we think it's really important to highlight just the wellness of what a DJ needs. So Ryan's going to be, you know, kicking it off the next Thursday with yoga for DJs. So, you know, we're trying to, you know, expand on, you know, us having just DJ talk, getting to know everybody, but also thinking about our health, body, and mind. So please join us, guys. And again, thank you so much for being here. Again, everybody new, everybody, our day ones are here.